Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of information and distill it down to those aha moments you crave.
Yeah.
Okay, picture this. You just got the news, you've worked incredibly hard for a new leadership role, right? A real professional peak. The euphoria is huge, just pure triumph. But then, almost in the same breath, you're hit with this sudden, deeply personal, maybe uncomfortable realization about your most important relationships.
Yeah, it's that immediate pivot, isn't it? That whiplash from external validation straight into an internal emotional clash. It really defines the moment.
Exactly. And that's precisely the tension we're dropping into today.
Hmm.
We're diving into a really powerful excerpt from undercheats11.pdf, a narrative that just perfectly captures this dizzying mix. Our mission, well, it's to explore those stratospheric highs of success,
Yeah.
and the quiet intensity of feelings left unsaid.
And that sudden crash back to reality when expectations just collide.
Absolutely. We're following Mara's journey through this one pivotal scene, from total elation to this really poignant realization about her living situation and, yeah, crucially, her feelings for Liam.
In this deep dive, it's really going to uncover how those big external wins can almost paradoxically expose the internal conflicts that have just been simmering away.
Right.
We'll look at the weight of those unexpressed emotions, the complex dynamics that always pop up in close cohabiting relationships. So get ready to explore that delicate balance, between professional advancement and personal desires, and how quickly one can just completely overshadow the other. It's something I think many of us can probably relate to in some way.
Okay, so we've set the stage for this,
Yeah.
this real tension. Let's dive into Mara's first big moment, that moment of triumph. It starts with the phone call, right?
Yeah, the big news.
And the source tells us she's remarkably composed when she gets the news about the team leader position. She's doing the ohs and ahs in the right places, asking pertinent, important questions, even remembers to thank the caller.
Very professional.
Very. But what does that initial composure tell us about her? And then the second she hangs up, she apparently completely loses it. What's the significance of that immediate, unfiltered release?
Well, it's quite telling, isn't it? That initial composure, it speaks to a strong professional front, someone who can keep it together even when massively excited inside.
Right.
But that immediate unraveling the second the call ends, losing it without even calling a friend or texting first. It powerfully highlights who she sees as her number one person.
Okay.
It's that raw instinct. It shows who she needs to share this huge news with more than anyone else before even thinking. That reaction, it's incredibly revealing about their connection, or at least her perception of it.
That's a great point. And her journey to find him is just as revealing. She practically sprints upstairs, almost tripping on carpets and furniture that's been in the Harding family for 5 generations, throws open Liam's office door, no knock.
Doesn't even hesitate.
No. He's on a time-sensitive call, but she has, quote, utter disregard for whatever he's doing. Throws her arms around his waist, yells, "I got it, Liam! I got the job!" I mean, this isn't just excitement. It's pure eruption aimed right at him.
It's a total unceremonious disruption. But Liam's response is just as immediate, just as unequivocal. The source describes his blinding grin.
Yeah.
He doesn't hesitate for a second, cuts off his caller, "I'll call you back," completely ignores the "sir, this is time-sensitive" part, just tosses the phone aside.
Wow.
It's not a polite pause. It's an absolute immediate shift in priority. And then he lifts me up like he's too happy for me to even consider stopping himself, spinning her around in one single perfect whirl of pure happiness. It's just this raw, shared celebration.
And this is where it gets really interesting, right? In that single perfect whirl, surrounded by his overwhelming joy for her, Mara has this huge internal revelation. She realizes how incredibly, utterly gone for this man I am. But this isn't exactly new, is it?
No, not at all.
She admits, it's been there for weeks, months, whispering in my ear, creeping at me, hitting me in the face like a train on an iron track. So why now? What's the significance of this deep feeling finally surfacing, becoming too formidable and luminous for me to ignore, right in this specific moment of shared joy?
Well, the timing is just profoundly significant, I think. It's not happening in some quiet moment of reflection. It's born from this peak emotional intensity, and it's amplified by his reciprocal, unbridled joy.
Okay, so his happiness fuels hers.
Exactly. His happiness for her acts like this powerful catalyst. It validates and intensifies her own feelings until they just can't be contained anymore. It's almost like his reaction gives her suppressed emotions permission to finally burst out. It really shows how these shared positive moments can sometimes illuminate much deeper, more complex internal truths.
And then, okay, Liam sets her down.
Yeah.
And the connect, it becomes almost electric. His hands linger, one hand trailing down my arm, the other pushing a lock of hair past my temple behind my ear.
Yeah, the description is potent.
It really is. The heavy, sweet tension thickening between them. It's so vivid. Mara explicitly says, I want to kiss him. I want to kiss him so, so much. And her internal monologue just goes wild, right? Imagining him pushing her against the desk, whispering, finally, be still, let's celebrate. The intimacy she's feeling, imagining, seems almost unbearable.
It's a classic, powerful example of unspoken communication. The physical closeness, that lingering touch. It conveys so much more than words ever could in that moment. And the tension described, it isn't just awkwardness, it's a really charged space, full of potential, full of unexpressed desire. Her fantasy reviews the sheer depth of her longing, not just for a kiss, but for a profound shared acknowledgement of their connection, something that goes beyond just celebrating the job. It's a powerful depiction of that internal yearning.
But then, just as it hits peak intensity, Mara just snaps out of it. She gasps, almost desperately. Oh my God, what do you think Sean is doing right now?
Yeah, the abrupt shift.
Totally abrupt. And she follows up hoping he's crying in the bathroom or tweeting out his despair. It feels almost comedic, but also kind of tragic, maybe. It completely breaks the mood.
Well, that shift, I think it functions as a really strong self-preservation mechanism for her. The emotional vulnerability of that moment, the intimacy, it just became too much, too overwhelming.
So she deflects.
Exactly. By injecting humor, creating this shared external target, poor Sean, she effectively, maybe instinctively diffuses that intense emotional charge that was building. It's a way to create distance when her own feelings and the potential for them to be reciprocated or rejected just feel too exposed.
Okay, so she tries to make a quick escape then, but Liam stops her, hand on her wrist, asks Mara. And that happy, uncharacteristically open face he had just moments before, it's gone.
Yeah, it melted away into something else, something more subdued, opaque.
Opaque, that's a telling word. And here it comes, the gut punch. He reminds her, a few weeks ago you said that if you got the job, you'd move out. Wow, that just hits like a ton of bricks, doesn't it?
It really does.
The source says it strikes Mara like a knife between my ribs.
It's a truly devastating crash back to reality. What's so striking is the immediate, almost brutal contrast. You have Mara's soaring emotional high, and then Liam's very grounded, almost contractual reminder.
Contractual, yeah.
And his face becoming subdued and opaque signals this rapid closing off, a withdrawal from the shared joy, the intimacy they just had. It suggests a big shift in his internal state that mirrors the impact of his words on Mara. It's a sudden confrontation with a totally different kind of truth.
And you can practically feel her reeling inside. She's thinking, haven't things changed with us, between us? She's recalling, weeks of stealing food off each other's plates and texting to bicker about Eileen's love life.
All of those little intimacies.
Right. For her, those shared mundane moments clearly signaled something deeper, an evolution past just being roommates. She's obviously shocked that his first thought, or at least the first thing he says, is about her moving out, not celebrating this connection she feels.
And that highlights this huge chasm, doesn't it? Between her unspoken expectations and their stated commitment. Her perception that their relationship evolved through shared life just isn't mirrored by his direct recall of the practical agreement.
Yeah.
Her internal thought, his second thought, was that he'll finally go back to living alone. Just perfectly captures the sting of that disconnect, feeling totally blindsided by what feels like his cold pragmatism.
So she tries to brush it off with a joke, right? Why are you kicking me out?
A defense mechanism again.
But Liam's phone rings, interrupting him, which honestly feels like a momentary, almost merciful escape for Mara.
Gives her a second to breathe.
Yeah, she uses that break to collect myself, and then she starts rationalizing it, decides, if Liam wants to live alone, that's fine. I guess that's my own problem to solve.
It's such a poignant moment of trying to regain control, isn't it? Despite the obvious heartbreak bubbling up. It absolutely is. An attempt to regain agency when she feels incredibly vulnerable, maybe rejected. Her internal monologue tries to soften the blow by intellectualizing it. Maybe he just wants solitude rather than facing the more painful idea that maybe his feelings just don't match hers. It's a coping mechanism, trying to reassert control over her emotions, But it doesn't really hide the underlying pain or the struggle to square his words with her hopes.
And she tries to sound cheerful about moving out.
Yeah.
Mentions plans to walk around naked and gorge myself on creamer to celebrate Eileen's excellent life choices.
Yeah.
But her voice trails off. She can't keep it up.
The forced cheerfulness fails.
Yeah, in Liam's eyes, they remain withdrawn, absent almost. Finally, he just says, "Whatever you want, Mara," but in a kind, gentle tone.
That response, "whatever you want, Mara," it's incredibly ambiguous, isn't it?
Totally. What does it even mean?
Oh, it could be him trying to give her autonomy, giving her space to decide. Or it could be a passive withdrawal, a reluctance to engage with the emotional fallout of what he just said.
Disengaging.
Possibly. His withdrawn and absent eyes suggest he's not fully present anymore, maybe grappling with his own thoughts, or maybe just stepping back from the difficult emotional territory.
And the scene wraps up with Mara managing one last smile as she slips out of his office. And just then, the first tear hits my collarbone. It's this quiet, solitary exit. Such a stark contrast to that huge shared triumph just minutes before.
A really powerful, heartbreaking ending. It just emphasizes the profound personal cost of that professional high. The private tear against the public success perfectly underscores the duality of her experience, a triumph that simultaneously triggered a deeply personal, painful revelation.
So, okay, let's unpack this a bit for listeners. This short excerpt, it perfectly illustrates that among conflicting nature of success, right, a professional peak can, at the same time, lead to a personal valley, or at least a moment of really profound emotional challenge.
Definitely.
You hit your goal, but bam, it immediately forces you to confront something tough in your personal life.
Indeed. And it vividly exposes that gap between Mara's unspoken hope, her belief that their relationship had moved beyond just cohabitation, and Liam's direct recall of a practical promise.
Yeah, she thought things had changed with us, between us.
But his reminder just grounds her back in the reality of their agreement, regardless of any implicit emotional shifts she perceived. It's a painful clash of two different realities playing out.
And what about the vulnerability? Mara's bravery in sharing her joy so openly, it's huge.
Yeah.
Running to him, throwing her arms around him, completely unfiltered.
Kicks guts.
It does. But that same openness makes her fall that much harder, right? When her deeper feelings are implicitly, maybe explicitly, overlooked or unreciprocated by his reminder about moving out, it's a massive emotional risk. And we see the immediate fallout.
That vulnerability is absolutely a double-edged sword. Her uninhibited joy is genuine, beautiful even, but it paves the way for deeper exposure and potential hurt. And what's truly fascinating here is how much we have to read between the lines with Liam.
Right, because we're mostly in Mara's head.
Exactly. We see his initial pure joy, the blinding grin lifting her up, the lingering touch, then the subdued face, and that final "whatever you want, Mara." What do those actions really signify? How could we interpret his feelings based only on what we're given here?
Is he genuinely clueless about how she feels? Or is he aware and just dodging?
It's the pivotal question, isn't it? When his face becomes subdued and opaque, is that his discomfort or just a neutral expression while remembering a practical thing? It opens up so many possibilities. Maybe his subdued look signals his own internal conflict, maybe even sadness about her potentially moving out, even if he thinks it's necessary.
Or maybe the kind, gentle tone when he says, "whatever you want," is compassion, acknowledging she's upset without actually saying it.
Could be. Or it could be a way to create distance, a polite but firm disengagement.
So he might be aware of her feelings, but is choosing to maintain boundaries for his own reasons. Or is it possible he's just simply not on the same emotional page at all, that her hopes just haven't registered with him like she thinks they have?
Both seem entirely plausible from the text, which is why it's so rich. If he is aware, his reminder to move out, plus that ambiguous final line, becomes a conscious choice not to cross a line. Maybe protecting himself, maybe protecting her, maybe he's just not ready.
And if he's unaware,
Then it highlights a profound miscommunication, where their shared experiences meant vastly different things to each of them. It really emphasizes how easily unspoken assumptions can create these huge emotional gaps, even in close relationships.
that's the real gut punch, isn't it? How two people can live together, share all these moments, big and small, and still be operating on completely different emotional wavelengths. It leaves us with so much to think about regarding those silent agreements, those unspoken desires that shape our closest bonds.
It absolutely does. The narrative really leaves us in that uncertainty, forcing us to confront the fact that we rarely have full access to someone else's inner world, and how tricky it is to navigate relationships when critical emotional stuff remains unsaid.
So we've witnessed Mara's roller coaster. From that peak of career triumph, straight into this immediate heart-wrenching personal reality check. This deep dive into just one moment really shows the intricate ways our external achievements can force us to confront uncomfortable truths about our internal lives, our relationships.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? Life rarely gives us isolated wins. Our successes ripple through our personal worlds. Sometimes they bring joy. Other times they expose hidden feelings or unaddressed challenges that were always there, just waiting for a spotlight.
So as you reflect on Mara's journey, here's something to think about. Is professional success, in its purest form, maybe an accelerant for personal truth? Or is it just a spotlight, exposing the truths we've been maybe too busy or perhaps too afraid to confront all along?
That's a good one.
Something for you to mull over until our next deep dive.